Now, let me see. I've finished the lion and giraffe, but where is the bear's nose?
Mervin, that had better not have been my best china falling on the floor. Mervin, I told you to stay away from that cupboard.
Oh, there it is. Okay now, where's the camera?
Jingles, can you get that? I've got to rip a hole in the space-time continuum so I can repair my best dishes. It's taking everything I have within me not to throw Mervin into the time tunnel first.
Okay, Mama M.T. I hope Mervin hasn't been eating pieces of this puzzle. Him and his late night snacks. I never can finish one of these. Horace, what a welcome surprise. How are you doing today?
Can't complain. Same stuff, different day.
You're telling me.
I've got a note for you. It's from Lazar. He said I should wait for a response.
Note? Why didn't he just phone? Or come over? I'm just down the street.
By the sound of things, this house is just the same as it is over at the Bears. I don't think that Lazar has the time to sit down and make a phone call. He had me write the note as he was positioning drywall in the basement.
The repairs. I'd forgotten. We've had a few ourselves.
Mervin, get away from that spatula.
What's wrong with them two?
A lot, Horace. A lot.
Huh, gotcha. Between Nipsey and Elmer, I've seen a fair share myself. Every time I'm at the Bears, something is either blowing up or being repaired. I don't know how that house is still standing.
The same can be said of this house. We've had to excavate the foundation and have it reinforced, all because of Mervin's tantrums. Then of course there's young Orville's issues. Anyway, Mama M.T. and we've got to make a short trip. Unfortunately, that leaves Mervin as the only person well enough to leave in charge of things while we're away.
Ain't this his house?
Legally, yes. He owns it. However, he's far from capable of handling it on his own, at least for any length of time. That's kind of why we're here. Looking out for him. Bunson used to do that, but then he went away and I and Mama M.T. took over for him. Of course he's returned, but he's still got a handful, so that leaves Mervin squarely in the hands of me and Mama M.T.
I always thought Mervin was a little strange. A really nice guy, but definitely a few light bulbs short of a pack.
Give me that mousetrap.
You don't know the half of it. Mama M.T. is trying to get him to see the importance of his duties as sole provider and caregiver to a home with 2 sick people in it.
Let me guess, she's getting nowhere fast.
Well,
I've got my china back, Jingles, no thanks to you-know-who.
you didn't throw him into...
No, of course not. Don't think I wasn't tempted to.
Let's just say she's getting nowhere, period.
How are Ollie and Jason getting along?
Ollie is holding his own. Slowly but surely, day by day, he's getting better. He's awake, alert, and just very, very weak. Bedridden.
Jason?
No change. Still unconscious.
All this yelling can't be doing either of them any good.
Yeah, I think I know what you mean. It's giving me migraines. Daily ones at that.
No, that's not what I mean. I mean, like, it's creating a negative atmosphere in this house. Too much yelling brings a bad vibe to the place. That brings sickness. It's like if there's too much anger, too much sadness, too much griping, it affects a person's health. It affects everyone's health who has to be around it. Nobody can live in a bad environment and come away healthy.
You seem to know a lot about that, Horace.
Heh, I was raised in a lot of bad places, switched around from orphanage to orphanage, family to family. I'd run away, only to end up picked up by the cops and placed in some detention center. Those were actually better than some of the families I was with. When I was a kid, I was sick, weak, and always in a bad mood. It wasn't until I grew up that I started to get healthy. I started watching what I put into me, both in what I ate and what I watched. I noticed a big change in how I felt about me, about the world, and about life.
Is that why you were so afraid of Sylvester? You were scared of being sick again? Of Sylvester making you sick?
Yeah, that was really dumb of me. I really regret it now. I didn't know nothing about what I was saying or what I was doing. I was just a big dumb oaf. I was scared and that was that. I didn't want anyone making me sick. So I made that little dude pay for my fear. It was wrong of me and I'm the first one to admit it.
It takes a big heart to admit a failing like that, Horace. I'm proud of you. I know Sylvester is too.
Little brat, he's never going to let me live it down.
How do you mean?
Every time I go over there, he slaps a kick me sign on my back when he hugs me.
Considering what you said to him, that's a small price to pay.
I guess so. He's a good kid.
You just mentioned something, Horace. What you put into you made you feel better. What do you mean by that?
I like to keep in good physical shape. I always have 3 squares a day, loaded with my 5s. If I don't get them, I'm no good to anyone.
3 by 5s? It sounds like you're eating wood.
They support me, so I might as well be. Bread and butter, milk and cheese, meat and eggs, vegetables and fruit.
All of that 3 times a day? No wonder you're so big now.
If you break it up into a meal, it ain't so much. What have you been eating here?
Ever since Orville blew up the stove, whatever we can get delivered, Chinese, Thai, pizza, hamburgers, and fried chicken.
And you wonder why there are arguments going on day and night. You guys are seriously malnourished. You need to get some good old-fashioned vitamins and protein to get you back on your feet again.
You might have hit on something there, Horace. You may be more right than you know.
Hello, Mom? This is Ralph. something we all enjoy about staying for dinner. Have you ever thought why? It's because eating with others is fun. People like to come together at meal times. They enjoy each other's company while they're enjoying good food. Mealtime is fun for Frank. And it's fun for Judy, too. But it's different with Ralph.
Will you have some peas, Ralph?
Gosh, Mrs. Scott, I don't like peas.
Oh, that's too bad. Well, how about a baked potato, then?
Well, okay. Gee, Ralph, why aren't you eating? Remember that picture we saw? What picture? The picture with the hand and the 5 groups of food. Oh, that was just schoolwork.
No, Ralph isn't enjoying his dinner much. Maybe it's because of that candy bar he had just before dinner. Whatever it is, Ralph's good time with Frank and Judy is spoiled. The next day is Saturday, and Ralph's tired. But Frank and Judy feel differently.
We're going skating today. Can Ralph come with us?
Well, I don't know. I think he's still in his room. Just a moment. Let me see. Ralph, Frank and Judy are here and want you to go skating with them.
Hi, Frank. Hi, Judy. Hi. Can you go skating with us outside? It's just right. I don't feel like going skating. Thanks anyway.
Oh, well. Okay. That's too bad. Maybe he can go tomorrow. Bye, kids.
Bye.
That's how it's been for quite some time. Ralph just hasn't had the pep that he should have. And now, Ralph begins to wonder why. Maybe there was something more in last week's classwork than he had thought. That hand, for instance, that his teacher had drawn. 5 fingers that point the way to health. What was it now? Bread and butter or margarine, milk and cheese, meat and eggs, vegetables, and fruits. Those are the foods you should eat every day if you want to be healthy. The first one, bread and butter or margarine, reminds him of Kenneth. Why? Because those are foods, and Kenneth has the most energy in class. Whole grain breads like whole wheat and rye are especially good for you. If you do eat white bread, make sure it's enriched. Enriched bread has vitamins added to it. Cereals give the same kind of energy and health values that bread does, especially whole wheat cereals and oatmeal. Butter and margarine contain fats. They give you energy in a different way from breads and cereals. Butter and fortified margarine have vitamin A in them, which is necessary to good health. The second finger that points to health represents milk and cheese, and somehow they remind Ralph of the tallest children in class. That's because milk and cheese help the body grow. Milk is about the most perfect food there is. A glassful at every meal is good for you, and with one more, that makes a quart a day. Vitamin D milk helps build strong bones and teeth. And Ralph has decided that it must be lots of milk which has given Linda such a bright smile. Cheese is a bodybuilder too, and there are many kinds to choose from. The third finger represents meat and eggs. And Ralph thinks of George right away, because he's the huskiest and the strongest boy in class. Meat and eggs help the body grow and make it strong. Meat is good for you, and there are many kinds. There's beef, there's pork and ham, there's lamb, fish is good, and so is chicken and other poultry. An egg a day is good for you too. Boiled, fried, scrambled, poached, or any way. Meats and eggs are high in protein, which helps build red blood and strong muscles. The fourth finger, pointing the way to health, represents vegetables. And here Ralph thinks of several children in his class. for there are many kinds of vegetables. Potatoes, for instance, are an energy food, and baked potatoes, eaten with their skins and butter or margarine, have lots of vitamins and minerals too. When it comes to green and yellow vegetables, Ralph thinks of Wendy, the prettiest girl in the class. And there are so many different kinds. Green vegetables like string beans, asparagus, and broccoli. There are salad vegetables like lettuce, and many others like celery, radishes, and carrots. Carrots are good cooked too, and so is squash and other yellow vegetables like rutabaga. Cauliflower and cabbage are good too. Yes, there are hundreds of wonderful vegetables. The important thing is that all kinds of vegetables are good for you, whether they're raw or cooked. They're important for good health, for lots of energy and pep, for clear skin and bright eyes, for shining, gleaming hair, and above all, for that wonderful sense of feeling good. The last finger represents fruit, and there are two kinds. Some are especially rich in vitamin C and help ward off some of the diseases that keep you in bed. They help cuts and bruises heal faster too. Foods with lots of vitamin C in them include orange juice, grapefruit, strawberries, melons, and of course, whole oranges. Certain vegetables like tomatoes and raw cabbage are also rich in vitamin C. You should have a vitamin C food every day, provided it isn't stored in the body very long. Finally, there are the fruits we eat for dessert. Wonderful fruits like apples, bananas, peaches, pears, plums, grapes, and many others. Nuts make a good dessert too. They're rich in energy, proteins, vitamins, and minerals. And now, as Ralph thinks about it, he realizes that each of the children he admires depend on all the food's health and not on just one food. George is strong, Wendy is pretty, Linda has a bright smile, and Kenneth has lots of pep, not because of any one food that they eat, but because they eat some of all kinds of food. For it takes 5 fingers to point the way to healthful eating habits. And Ralph goes over them in his mind. Every day, eat bread and butter, milk and cheese, meat and eggs, vegetables, fruits, and a vitamin C food. Thinking about all this food has made him hungry. He has a candy bar around as usual, but now Ralph has a better idea of why he shouldn't let candy and sweets substitute for other foods. Sweets don't have the proteins, the vitamins, or the minerals, the bodybuilding qualities of other foods. So for the next few months, Ralph really worked at learning to eat all kinds of foods.
Ralph, would you like some peas?
I don't want... Well, okay.
Well, what happened to you?
He'd sample everything that was served to him. And even if it didn't happen to be a food that he preferred, he'd eat some of it anyway. At night, he'd go over the 5 food groups and see how he had done that day. After a month or 2 of this, Ralph suddenly realized that a slow change had taken place without his noticing it. He found that eating had become fun. What's more, his health was better and he had more pep. He had more fun than he used to, and more friends. And all because he had learned to eat by counting his foods on his fingers.
Listen, Mervin, the two of us have got to come to an understanding. Either you are going to have to accept the responsibility that's been handed down to you, or we're going to have to hire a babysitter to take care of you in your own house, no less. You're an adult and you're behaving like an infant. If you're going to behave like one, then that's exactly how we're going to treat you.
Ahem. This argument has run its course.
The heck it has. He used my nylons to strain spaghetti. Do you know what's in that basement? His bowling ball, in the washing machine, or what's left of it.
This is not your problem anymore, Mama M.T., nor mine. We've other, more important matters to attend to. This house, the kitchen, Mervin's continued disruptions, Ollie and Jason, these all need to be left in hands reliable and capable.
If Mervin is no longer my problem, then that means...
He's mine.